I thought I get to tell all the jokes around here. I don't think I can top that.
Those were some good jokes.
Don, I appreciate the chance to address the board here and help you with your deliberations. I thought that, I didn't know that you guys were still actually deliberating on this, but I'm glad to hear that you are. And I'm not gonna try to talk you out of the moratorium, but what I am gonna do is urge you to try to make good use of it. As Tony and this gentleman over here mentioned earlier, and I'm reading here from the purpose, to provide the town with a period of time to establish industrial site plan review, create critical environmental areas, aquifer protection and road use policy, and/or prohibit the activities described in section 4. Now, regardless of how any of us feel about those various enactments, it's a bunch of work for you guys to consider it, to write language, to decide what you're going to do, and I hope that you all do it now. I mean, you're going to be giving yourself the chance, so I think you got to kind of take that responsibility and do it. I'm real curious to see what happens. I'm in favor of road use agreements. I'm not sure about some of the other ones. I guess I'd have to see what they're all about. I've highlighted here balancing the interest between the public need to safeguard the character and other resources of the town, and on the other, the rights of individual property owners and businesses desiring to conduct such activities during such a period. That's kind of the heavy political thing going on here. The hardship section of this, there's over 7 pages of hardship language in this thing, and anybody that wants to apply for it's going to have another hardship on their hands. I wouldn't have put that in there. But, it says this local law is a police power and land use regulation. I remember we had a big argument a year or so ago, Don, on the board. You said that we don't do land use regulation in Caroline, but I guess we will now. That's pretty much all I got to say about this, but mainly I just hope that the board takes this year that you have and try to use it productively, because at the end of this year there's going to be a push for a ban, or there might not be, but if there isn't, then you are going to have to deal with some of these other things, and I hope that you are ready for it. So I hope that you do use this time wisely. It's a lot of work.
Thank you.
It's Earl, not Paul.
Earl, all right, sorry.
Thank you.
I'm not good at script here, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not an English major either. Good evening.
1 second. Ann Bame is on deck. Yes, Earl.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to address the board again. It's nice to see some old faces here and a new face or two. I'm Earl Colley. I represent the Central New York Landowners Association. And a moratorium was originally designed to give people a chance to look at what's going to happen, which requires extraordinary amounts of talent and manpower. Are any of the members of the board an engineer? Or what engineering skill?
Material science.
All right, you're not a hydrologist, a geologist, an oil and gas man. You have no idea what goes on into that field, do you? How much are you willing to pay somebody to come in and do the work for you? That's what a moratorium was designed to do, so you could acquire information. If you were acquiring information from the Slotskys, from the Community Environmental Defense Council, you have a draft sitting in front of you. I have seen a dozen of them, exactly the same. And I guarantee you your lawyer has been asked to put his name on it. The Slotskys' name will not appear in it. And the reason for that is he's not allowed to. I have argued with it. I have argued against him for a long, long time. Another thing, this is just for the people in the audience also. How many farms are left in the area from 30 years ago? How many of them are about to go bankrupt or lose their farms? Do you want that on your conscience? Do you want responsibility for more people leaving New York State? Since the last census, 1 million people have left New York State. Why? Because it's so environmentally beautiful to them? The environment's not going to change. I've been down to Pennsylvania. I've been on Carter Road. It's a beautiful area also. You don't even know there's a well there. It's hype and it's hysteria. Another person said that gas is as dirty as coal. Why is the EPA banning 1,200 coal-fired cogeneration plants for electricity and telling them they either have to put pollution controls in or switch to natural gas? Who are the scientists and engineers? Do they work for the EPA? Do they work for the DEC? You bet your bottom dollar they do. Just remember, when people leave this area, it's going to be you they remember for a moratorium. And if it's not a anti-gas moratorium, then take that out and deal with it as a band. Thank you.
I have a question. Are you a resident of Caroline?
It
No, I'm
doesn't
not.
matter, it doesn't
No,
matter.
I'm not, but I do represent other residents of Caroline in the coalition.
So we have Ann Bame and then Ron Berlew.
You shouldn't answer.
That's okay. I got nothing to hide.
I'm Ann Bame, and I live on Speed Hill in Caroline. I've lived there for about 30 years. I'm among the majority of residents who thoroughly support a ban on hydrofracking. In the past 2 years, I've studied as carefully as I'm able information supplied by the gas companies, research findings of independent scientists, advice from many lawyers, and most recently, 2 very clear and emphatic court decisions. It could not be clearer to me that any process so fraught with inherent risk, fallible technology, and careless application offers us anything long-term but our own ruin. In fact, in light of the court decisions, I think it is incumbent upon us to demonstrate our municipal authority in preventing unconventional shale gas development here. I've also listened to the remarks of some of my friends and neighbors who trusted the promises made to them when they signed leases, or who believe that in consolidating their acres and coalitions, they might bring enough influence to bear upon the regulation of fracking that they could justify taking the hand up they've long needed from corporate interests they hope they will be able to trust or control. I know that most of these hopes are genuine, and I intend no disrespect for anyone in opposing them. I have little sympathy for rapacious speculators, but like everybody here tonight, I have heard my neighbors' heartfelt remarks, and I'm sorrier than I can say that I believe such hopes are dangerous ones that have been falsely created by profiteers who in the end will do nobody any good at all. While this difference in attitude separates us over whether or not a ban is a good idea, and we know that generations of people who live in Caroline will likely toss this ball back and forth across the years, I think there's nobody in this room who should not be able to see the wisdom in a moratorium that will give us time to act to protect ourselves, no matter what anybody decides to do later. Not just one, but 2 carefully reasoned and timely court decisions based upon solid precedent have reassuringly paved the way for us to take this step. A few weeks ago, I was still very concerned that a moratorium would becloud the issue, might retard our wish to do something more emphatic. But now that I better understand the ways that we might still be threatened, even with a ban in place, by an unregulated network of pipelines, by threats from places we can't control to our waterways and then our aquifers, I'm grateful that our board has had the foresight to create this additional means of safeguarding our future. There's not a person here tonight who would not be well served to support this moratorium, and I hope we can do so and demonstrate our collective preference to act as members of a responsible community rather than minions of the gas industry.
Is Ron Berlew here?
He left.
He left, okay. So I have Ken Miller and